I'm joined now by the German government's Commissioner for Anti-Semitism and Jewish Life in the Federal Interior Ministry, Felix Klein. Welcome. You recently said that the government is seeing a rise in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories in connection with the COVID-19 pandemic. Where and amongst which groups is this taking place?
Well, in times of crisis, people tend to believe irrational explanations that are no real explanations, like these conspiracy myths. And the government now observes that groups that traditionally don't have any contact whatsoever with each other now join forces in the protesting against the measures for the protection of the population regarding the pandemic. And unfortunately, anti-Semitism seems to serve as a binding element of all this, and this is new, and we have to observe that really with vigilance.
What kind of groups are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about people from the middle of society, people who are against vaccinating, and or people who have odd explanations. They think, for instance, that the 5G technology caused the virus. But we also see alongside these people radical forces, extremists and popular forces, and particularly the right-wing extremists try to use the miscontent of these people for their aims, and they want to infiltrate anti-Semitic things and theories, and particularly they use narratives that deny or distort the Holocaust.
So what is the government doing about this?
Well, there is, of course, the intelligence service observe the Verfassungsschutz, they observe the situation. Of course, the intelligence services in Germany act without any political pressure. They do what they have to do. But what the state can do is actually that the local communities, when a demonstration is registered, can by law make some stipulations of what the organizers of demonstrations have to follow. For instance, the city of Munich recently banned the use of the yellow star, the Star of Jews, to be used in a demonstration where people were seen to have these stars, and it was written unvaccinated. So this can be forbidden by the local communities, and when it is used, then the police can come in and act.
One of these groups calls itself Querdenken, which means something essentially like contradictory thinking. And due to the rising influence in that group of right-wing extremists, some German politicians are calling for the domestic intelligence services to officially put them on a list of potential risk groups and to exercise much stricter scrutiny. Do you think that's necessary, and will it happen?
Well, I think we have a good tradition in Germany that the intelligence services observe the situation and they act according to their decision-making process. I think, well, it's understandable that politicians call for that, but I think it's very good, and the legitimacy of an observation by intelligence service is much higher when it is done by the services by themselves and without any political pressure.
The use of anti-Semitic terminology by the protesters against corona rules, why that, and how does it compare to other countries in Europe?
Well, the anti-Semitic narratives here in Germany, like in other countries, come from different sources, from right-wing, left-wing, also even from Islamist sources. But here it is very often used in the context of Holocaust distortion and even denial. So people see themselves as victims, and they think, or they say that they feel like Holocaust victims, and this is absolutely outrageous, of course. If a young girl that could not celebrate her 11th birthday the way she would like to do, and she compares herself to Anne Frank, who was killed in the Holocaust, as we know, and that anti-Semitic narrative is so outrageous here that it has a special effect in Germany, maybe more here than in other countries. And of course, we have to react politically, first of all, with repression, and police has to come in, because Holocaust distortion is punishable under German law. But of course, we also need to enhance our efforts in education. If you know who Anne Frank was, you would never compare yourself with her.
Coming back to the whole topic of disinformation and also conspiracy theories, Germany is looking toward elections next year. How worried are you that we could see a rise in this kind of interference in the political system, also from outside the country?
Well, I think there is a real danger, because once again, in times of crisis, people are much more open to conspiracy myths and theories. According to serious studies, a third of the German population is open to these so-called explanations, and of course, this is a field of action for influences from the outside, and of course, this is very dangerous, and this makes also the process volatile, because also these Querdenker people, they take into question our democracy, our system. Some of them really call for a new constitutional assembly, which of course should show that they deny our system of the Federal Republic of Germany, and this is really dangerous, and we have to be vigilant.
Thank you very much.